And boom, there we go. All right, we are recording. So, Ryan, you spammed my Discord wanting the green roll, which is only for guests of the podcast. So we have to knock this out. So I don't imagine this will be a particularly long one, but yeah, I just want to roll through it. So let's see if you want to just kind of roll through like what you're currently doing. In your life. I suppose let's see, it's April when we're recording this, so school year's wrapping up and whatnot. But just a quick Cliff Notes introduction.
Well, Cliff Notes. I am a high schooler.
Easy.
I have basically no life. Um, I am very much in the music area of things. I am in our musical. I am in choir. It was in band, but I had to drop it for reasons.
Mhm.
Um, I like to play video games. I have a friend who I play Access and Allies with a lot. In fact, we have like a total. He has in his own words, it's a crippling addiction.
Gotcha. Oh wait. So
Access and Allies.
Axis and Allies. My dad remembers playing Axis and Allies back when he was. I think he was in college when he did it. He played like 2 games with people, and that alone was like 16 hours. How long is like a session of Axis and Allies? Do you like save your place in between sessions, or?
So our last session, okay. Here's the thing with him, right? He we're not just playing Access and Allies. Currently, the thing that we're playing is a homebrew version of Access and Allies, a global war, but his own version of it.
Gotcha.
So if you think
Gotcha.
Axis and Allies, but then make it like 5 times more complicated and about 5 times as long, you get this.
My
So
goodness.
like okay, for example, I guess
Hmm.
the last session we did 2 turns, and that took three 3 hours, 5 hours. I don't know, a long time.
My
It's like an
goodness.
hour. It, it can. I don't remember how long. I think it averages out to about an hour a turn, and that's
Gotcha.
just because there's so many nations you have to play.
Do you
Because
have any
his version
idea?
actually needs.
Do you have any idea how many hours or turns it's gonna take to finish this game?
Well, we had to put it away, so we're gonna go take it over to his house and set it up. So it's probably gonna take probably about a week to finish the game. Not like week total playtime, but like a week in general to play the game because of
Okay,
how
gotcha.
steep this
So
game.
the turns, there's not a million turns like playing a game of Civ 5 or something like that. It's pretty okay. Gotcha. It's
No,
an aggressive, quick game.
it
Well, from turns wise, I
kind of
suppose.
has a. I don't. It doesn't exactly have a set.
Hmm.
See, I have to ask my friend about when it actually ends because I forget. But it can end one of two ways. I know it can end if one of the three players, so one of the 3 different factions, gets all their victory objectives,
Mm-hmm.
or and I think it ends after a set amount of turns, and you roll a specific number on a die.
Okay, I gotcha. Hmm.
It, it and yes, I did say
Yeah,
3 different people are needed to play the game.
yeah, I could believe it.
Because one person plays, yeah, one person plays the Allies, one person plays the Axis, and one person plays the Communists.
Oh,
So
I like it.
Russia and Communist China.
That's interesting. Okay, I could see that. That's kind
Yeah,
of that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of there's so many games from that like period like all around just like the general period around like World War II. Like it's such a like game
yeah,
just because everybody was kind of a faction. That's actually an interesting way of lining it up. Even if I'm thinking semi historically, that almost makes sense because Russia and China. It's not like they were allies per se. Russia sort of ish. We just say that because they're white, I think. But uh,
yeah. But like, and the other thing is, well, so normal access. that
You good?
So if you buy, there is a version of like a non-homebrew version of Global War for Axis and Allies. It's you get the Europe 1942 and the Pacific 1942 games and just combine them together.
Oh, okay.
But
Interesting.
in those games, you get infantry, tanks, artillery, I think mechanized infantry or motorized infantry, um,
Mhm.
cruisers, destroyers, submarines, transports, battleships, fleet carriers, and then fighters, tactical bombers, and strategic bombers.
Gotcha. Hmm. My goodness. Yeah,
I think that's in the regular game.
this is a rather complex game. I assume you need the. Well, I suppose this one's probably smaller miniatures, so it's not too expensive. I suppose to set up. Mostly time, I would guess. But you got some fancy miniatures you
but
guys have got
well,
for it.
no. But here's the thing: that's for the regular game.
Mm-hmm.
For the actual game, if you were gonna go fully miniature out and not like marking things,
Mm-hmm.
you'd also need um. Let's see here. You need pieces to signify Alpine Elite, Alpine Elite and Airborne Infantry, and then also Cavalry and Marines,
Mm-hmm.
and then light tanks and heavy tanks. Let's see what else is there. Then there's also basically a smaller aircraft carrier, and I can't remember exactly what it's called.
Gotcha. Okay, I got you. So you'd be like, it's like you subdivided up a
Yeah,
bunch of the broader categories to get even nerdier with it. Yep. Because Axis and
yeah.
Allies wasn't nerdy enough for you guys. Oh my goodness. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was conceivable, but you've done it. You've
Oh,
done.
there's also a tech tree.
Oh my goodness. All right. We better get off this Axis and Allies topic here. Oh my goodness. I'll loop back with you on it later. Maybe we'll see. Holy moly, what a game! All right. I'm gonna
Maybe
roll
we
through a
can play
first
it at some
question
point
here.
if you wish.
I'd be
Okay.
tempted. We could sit down for a day or something, knock something out. Probably not the Uber version that you maniacs are playing, but something for sure. All right. So first question I've got for you, Ryan. Now that you're, you know, almost an adult, sort of, kind of, almost. Now that you're running out here, but what would you in middle school think about you now?
Um, I don't know. Probably that he became lame a little bit, I guess. But I also look back at my middle school self and go,
I feel you for sure.
no.
I think when I ask this question to a lot of people, it's very common that they're like, I really don't like myself in middle school. Like in hindsight, like the way like Debbie's mom and dad talk about it being teachers is like there's a section in there where they stop being human for a short period of time, right? It's like the it's the opposite of human for a while there, but I definitely get that. I talk to a lot of people and they're like, I think middle school me probably wouldn't like me, but I don't think I'd like them either, so I don't really care about their opinion much. That's
Oh
kind of the
no.
vibe that it's pretty
See,
common.
middle school me would either like think I was a terrible human being and just dislike me, or think I was the greatest person on the planet and like try and follow me around everywhere.
Oh, I gotcha. You'd get a little mini me
It's an
follower.
either, there is no in between. It is an either or situation. And then I know
Gotcha.
myself now.
Yeah.
No. Those, uh, I think of, yeah.
Gotcha. What do you think has been like your progression from being in middle school to now? Because everybody like overcomes like a certain like like particular side of themselves in middle school that they like evolved to get where they are in high school. I feel like at least that's very common with the people I've talked to. When I what is one thing that you think like was one of those bigger changes from middle school to now that you've kind of undergone?
Well, I think the main thing is probably here. My humor.
Mm-hmm.
My humor in middle school is like I remember some of the things that I said in middle school that I thought was funny, and I look back at the and go like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But then I guess the other thing would be I just kind of I grew up a
Mm-hmm.
little bit because and I started understanding like because in middle school, and I guess this is the same thing with a lot of people, but and like before like even before like junior year of high school. No, actually I'd say before you get a job, you don't really know what it's like to like manage or to have expenses, to have to manage a job, to have to manage your own finances. And albeit that I don't necessarily do that to the best right now, I definitely didn't do it in middle school.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And I guess I also, well, I learned how to be a better person because of how to be a better person, how to let go. Because in middle school, I definitely did not know how to let go of things.
Oh,
Whereas
okay.
now I know how to let go of like let's say a friend is just starting to be like get to be
Mm-hmm.
one of those friends where it's like I don't really I can just let the friend go.
Yeah.
I
I
wouldn't have been
gotcha.
like even before like senior year, like this year of school, I wouldn't have been
Mm-hmm.
able to do that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Um
I've definitely noticed that last point you mentioned about letting go stuff. Like even in like the small things, I think honestly that might be the biggest thing I've noticed now that you mentioned that. Like back like when I first knew you, right? Little Ryan running around. I remember like if you had something that you wanted to do, you would just complain until somebody did it with you. That was the entire goal of your life became convincing people to play this
yeah.
game with you or something like that. So that I've noticed that. Now that you mentioned the letting go part, I'm like, even in the little things, that's an interesting one. I like it.
Yeah, it's been a mix of a lot of different just a lot of different things that have caused that to happen. Mostly I think it was mostly the fact of I realized that, I'm not necessarily important to some people. Like I'm important to a lot of people, but also I need to make sure that they're important as well. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just me, it's also them. It's like if there's something I want to do, I'll bring it up a couple of times, maybe. Maybe I'll have to remind you every so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
often. But I'm not gonna like stick on it for hours on end trying to get you to do the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Usually.
Nice. Gotcha. I like that. That was a good introspective one because that's something that even I've noticed, and I'm not the most observant guy. So nice. All right, let me roll. Let me grab another one out of the pile of questions here. Gotcha. Oh, this will be going. Yeah. So what are some current goals that you're on that you have for the moment? You're kind of because this is
Um,
your last year of high school, right? That you're finishing off here.
yeah,
Oh, gotcha. Big transition time. But yeah, so where's kind of your head at? Obviously,
yeah.
all this will change at some point or something. But what are you thinking right now?
Well, I want to graduate.
Nice. I like it. I like
That's,
it.
I think, my goal is I want to graduate and then leave, and then I guess another goal is that after I leave, I want people to remember me and look back on me as someone who was cool. Not even like cool, but someone they could,
hmm
I guess just someone that they know and
hmm
like I guess stand out a little bit from other people. It doesn't be like for cool, it can be like weird. But I want people to think of me in a good way after I'm gone.
Nice. I like it. And dig that. All right, let me roll. All right, so there's some current. Knock that one out. Oh yes. Okay. So I'm curious about that. You can let me know. We don't have to talk about this one if you don't want. But let's see. Do you still have a girlfriend? Right.
I do not.
Oh, you do not.
Um,
Gotcha.
no, the last relationship that I had, we broke up around last September-ish.
Oh, gotcha. I'm way behind the times. My
Yeah.
goodness. Holy moly. Gotcha, gotcha. But yeah, it's a long
Yeah,
distance thing though, right? So it's
it
be fun.
was, but I did get to go see her last June.
Nice. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
vaguely
last
remember that.
June.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. But
Nice.
and aside from that, I've just been having terrible luck. I tried to get a date to prom, but then everyone I asked was either doesn't have my personality, so they said no, or
Mm-hmm.
just straight up was already taken.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's a rough one. People start
So
locking that stuff in
yeah,
early. Holy moly! I remember when I was in high school, people were locking in that stuff before second semester. I think people were locking like prom date stuff in. It was nuts. I gotcha.
yeah.
Nice. All right. What's a skill that you want to learn? It can be long term or short term or just something.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Well, I want to learn a skill of how to control my voice so that I can, because I like to sing a lot, as I mentioned, music person, and I guess I just really want to be able to um, learn how to control my voice so I can sing in all parts of my range. Because as of
Mm-hmm.
the moment, I I have a huge range that is my low voice and my chest voice. But my falsetto, like the only notes that I really have access to in my falsetto, really only add like like 3 notes above the highest note my chest voice can hit,
Mm-hmm.
which is, if you're trying to visualize it, uh, if on a good day I can hit the okay, if the max I can hit is a B in the treble staff,
Mm-hmm.
which if you don't know that, it's like if you imagine a music staff, it's the note in the middle of the treble staff.
Yeah, maybe that one. I don't know. One of those.
I could not hear that at all, so I would not know.
Oh yeah, because I got the Discord cancels it out. I'll have that in the recording. I might fix that here if we keep talking music. We'll see. Oh well.
Yeah, but it's I can probably yeah,
Yeah, no worries.
um, but I can hit
Mhm.
that with my chest voice, which is that's on a really good day. Most days, the highest I can get is like a G sharp in
Mhm.
the treble staff,
Gotcha.
and then, but um, my falsetto allows me to get up to maybe like if I'm really stretching it, the F on top of the treble staff.
Mm. Mhm.
But the main thing I want to learn is how to get my falsetto so I can go above that and not have to like look like I'm trying to
I
look like
gotcha.
I'm dying while I'm singing my falsetto because I know that's how I look. I've seen myself do it. I can feel it
Mhm.
right here that I'm like straining my voice to sing that falsetto like up that
Okay.
high when I need to, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, this is something that I've been interested in a bit too. I'm thinking maybe I'll try to find a singer to show me how to do some stuff because I'm not a particularly great singer, but I'd like to be good enough that I feel a little better when I'm noodling around and singing it with my piano and stuff. That's pretty good. But I'm curious, what kind of songs or artists are you thinking of when you're thinking of like getting your range higher? Because that's not a very common thing. I think, especially if for like
Mm,
male singers, is like being like, oh man, for the stuff I want to sing, I just need to sing higher.
no, it's not. And
Hmm.
there's two sides of it. On the one side, I don't need to sing higher, but I would like to sing higher so that my higher voice sounds better. Because like you hear all the boy bands, they're actually singing in the like from like their usual range is probably the A on top of the bass clef staff to about the A and the treble staff. Like that's about the
Gotcha.
usual boy band range for like
Mm-hmm.
wherever. But then you get those like random singers that can sing 6 octaves, and if you want to sing with them, you can't unless you can sing 6 octaves.
Gotcha. Okay. Let
Um,
me see. I think I fixed it.
and the other thing that I would
Okay, there we go. Got
absolutely,
it.
if the other thing I'd absolutely love to be able to do is be able to sing the I guess for lack of a better term, the female. So like the female singers, I want to sing in their range. 'Cause that's where the song's meant to be sung. It's not meant to be sung an octave down. It's not meant to be sung 2 octaves down. Even sometimes I'd have to,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm able to do that because that would mean I can just sing it where it needs to be, and it's also kind of impressive to be able to sing higher than a male. You're not one.
For sure. For sure. Okay. Yeah. That's really interesting. I like that. I'll have to as we both poke around and learn a little more. I'll have to keep up with you on that. That's a good one. All right. Let me roll. Oh, here we go. So long term, looking out into your old age of your 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s, who knows? Just like generally when you think of like what your life is going to look like do you see yourself I can kind of roll through kind of point by point. Like do you see yourself having kids, for example?
I would like to,
Mhm.
but in the end, that will be something where I'm not gonna like. I personally would like to have kids. However, if the person that I end up marrying, because I do want to get married to someone, doesn't want to have kids, I'm not gonna be like,
Mhm.
okay, we're not gonna have, we need to have kids and like break up with them because they don't want to have a kid. So that's nah.
I
Because
gotcha.
on the one hand, I would like to have a legacy. On the other hand,
Mhm.
I don't want to have to deal with kids.
Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, kind of a you'd like to, but it's not like a core driver, right? It's not like a
Yeah,
it's not like
exactly.
a Catholic drive to have kids or something, you know.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
definitely not.
Gotcha. All right. What about like location where you live? Like, like because you've moved around a little bit growing up? Do you think like around Minnesota is it like a location that you like, or would you see yourself maybe moving to a different part of the
Honestly,
country? Or yeah.
no. Like, unless, of course, again, if the person that I marry has like some big plan of they want to go to like Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, I'm probably just going to end up living back here around Minnesota, probably around the same area that I'm living now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did used to live in a really rural part of Minnesota, and while that was nice, I it was good. It was definitely a good thing for me when I was there. But like now that I've lived in a big city for a long time, oh, not like long time,
Yeah.
for I don't think I can go back to a really small town. Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah, I remember when I first went up to the cities for college. It was like a part of me. I was just like, man, I think if I go to college, I think I'm probably gonna find a job up in the cities, and I'm not gonna be like living down in Blue Earth, Minnesota. And I was like, oh man, it's gonna suck. I'm never gonna get back here. But thankfully, it's not too far away.
It's
and then
not.
when I was at college, I was thinking, like it'd be really cool to live in a few different spots around the country, all sorts of stuff like that. But I've kind of settled on, being close to family and stuff is pretty important to me at this point.
Yeah,
So for
that's
sure.
because like the other thing is a lot of the family on my mom's side is basically within a 2 hours drive of me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, like within a day's drive. So like even when I go to the college that I'm going to because I already know which college I'm going to. I accepted admission and everything. I'm still a day's drive from my family,
Hmm.
and it's not. And originally, I wanted to. Oh, and this is going back to a different part of me, but another thing that's changed a lot about, like in the past year, even since I turned 18, because yeah, but since then, the biggest thing I realized is how much my family means to me. Because like, and I think I know a lot of people go through this, but for probably about seventh grade ish to junior year, I kind of had this era of I don't want to be anywhere near my family, or I don't even like my family. I had like that sort of air for that entire time, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and I was did my best to not listen to them, to try and push the rules, to try and do all that. But now that I'm going off to college and I am gonna be on my own, I realize, well, first of all, I don't know how the fuck my family stood up with me for this entire time. Because
I gotcha.
and I know I was not the best person for a good long while. But then the other thing that I realized is I love my family a lot. They're really important to me, and I think I want to be close enough where maybe it's not like I can't go home every weekend, but it's close enough where if I want to just make a spur of the moment trip to my family, I can.
Gotcha. All right, nice. That's really cool. I think you probably picked you probably learned that one about yourself sooner than I did. Like my family they were like my family was really small growing up. And so like until like I married Debbie and like got her entire massive family, you know, in the deal. I didn't realize, you know, the joy and the crave, like the just how much fun it is to have that many people that that are almost legally required to, like, you know, help you out or hang out with you or
Yeah, right.
do stuff like that. Like for college and high school, like I was really focused on like my relationships with my friends. Um, and you can get some really great relationships with friends. I have a ton of really great friends, but it's just, you know, having family. It's a different relationship that has its own kind of unique benefits that
Oh
take
yeah.
a long time if you're trying to get that from friends. Yeah.
Hmm.
Nice. All right, gotcha. So that cover we got the kids. We have them living in Minnesota. Oh yeah, the kind of work that you're looking to do. So you're aiming for a computer science major, right?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of. I think I know. Well, okay. I have like three different paths that I'm considering going down. I'm gonna decide which one I'm gonna go down. Like probably sophomore year ish, because I could just take all the basic classes in
Yeah.
freshman year and whatever. But the path that I'm currently thinking of is getting both a computer science and a math major.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that's gonna be a lot of work, but at the same time,
Yeah,
looks really
there's a
nice on a
surprising amount
resume.
of shared credits in there. A lot of colleges that's actually part of the
Yeah,
math
I know
department
there's a lot of
already.
shared credit,
So
so it's
yeah,
like yeah.
not a
And
bad deal.
then but then the other path that I wouldn't mind getting is a computer science major and a math minor. And then the third path would be the flip of that, a computer science minor and a math major.
Gotcha. Nice. Okay. So kind of rolling into
Yeah.
that general field of work, no matter which combination you take. Okay, I
Hmm.
like it. That's solid business. All right, and I'm sure we'll touch in you'll because when you go to college, you'll learn as part of the classes more like what types of jobs the different specialties will lead you to and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really good. All right, and then let's see. Last of these, like the future, like what you see in your future. What hobbies do you think that will that you'll have for a long time, right? Because like especially probably the last 5 years, I think I've started to cement some hobbies that I'm going to actually have for a long time versus those that I was just cycling through trying so many different hobbies through high school and college. And I think I've started to cement some that'll last for a little while longer. So do you have any guesses on what hobbies of yours will kind of extend for a long time?
Well, I don't think I don't have guesses, but I know the hobbies that I'm currently, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
albeit a bit out of because of like mental health stuff and school, but the hobbies that I'm planning on continuing, the first one is collecting Pokemon cards,
Mm-hmm.
is, and I've gotten out of that recently, which has been a bit to my detriment because they go through like two different expansions a year, and I'm like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a huge collection that I gotta go finish going through and sorting out, and that I have to sell all the cards that I don't want. There's a lot of them that I just have duplicates of that I can just either sell or trade in for other cards. Then another hobby would probably be a hobby that I want to get into is game design as
Mm-hmm.
a hobby. Me and a couple of friends are actually, well, it's on the back burner for the moment because I don't have time for it, nor do I have the skill for it yet. But we were making a video. We were going to make a video game, kind of with the same concept as Hollow Knight,
Okay, gotcha. Like 2D platformer kind of style.
2D platformer with a lot of in-depth lore and whatever. But
Nice.
um, yeah, I don't have time or skill for that at the moment. But I do plan to work on that either over the
Mm-hmm.
summer or later down in life. And
Gotcha.
then I guess the third and final hobby. Nope, not third and final hobby. Third and second to last hobby is model trains.
Okay.
Me and one of my friends have a lot of model train stuff, and we want to eventually find a like permanent place to set it up because we don't have that at the moment, and we just need one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that'd be really cool to have. My I've tossed around the idea of straight up like renting a building to stick it in, and then charging admission for the building, like model train museum type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for the future after I figure out what I'm doing
Definitely. That's an old
and
man
we figure out a
retirement
permanent place.
strategy right there.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other um hobby that I have currently is getting collecting the Star Wars strategy game stuff. So like Armada, X-Wing, and Legion. If you know those three,
Yep.
uh, I'm I have I have at least the starter set for all three, and I've been working through getting all of the Armada stuff because that's the one that I know. Hey, as long as if I can get one of each of the set because the Armada stuff is still being made, but being it's not having more stuff made for it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
still being produced, but no more things have been designed for it
Yeah, no
yet.
new stuff. Yep.
I might pick it up later in the future, but I know the big ones right now are X-Wing and Legion, which are what people are going for. So I'm collecting Armada stuff first, and then eventually I'm going to start working on the X-Wing and Legion stuff. Because one of the things I want to do is make a huge like campaign game that uses all three games somehow. I haven't exactly figured out how to do that yet, but eventually.
Gotcha. Nice. I like it. I like it. That's a solid bit of hobbies. A lot of collecting hobbies on that one,
Yeah.
which I know are always a little tougher. I've been trying to avoid some collecting hobbies too much because I have some hoarders in my family, sort of. So I've been trying to avoid some of that, but I've been getting into some more stuff like that recently. You know, aside from cars, but that's in my genetics. I can't possibly stop doing that. So.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. Yeah, I think I really like collecting things because it gets me the satisfaction of um like for I'll use Pokemon cards as an example. I have either like 5 to 10 binders of Pokemon cards where I've just used the sleeves and marked it. Okay, this is how many cards are in the set. For each card, there's like 2 to 3 versions of it, so they'll all just go in the same slot. But then there's one slot for every unique numbered card,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them are mostly empty. But there's something really satisfying about you get a card and you slide it into the slot where it's supposed to be if you don't have it already, and it's stuff like that. So I
Gotcha.
really like the collecting aspect of it.
Oh, for sure. When I was playing, I haven't played it much recently, but Marvel Snap, that game on your phone, there's a card collecting element to it. Oh no, the dopamine rush you get, especially early on when we're just crapping cards at you left, right, and center. Holy moly,
Hmm.
that got me good. That got me good.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see here. Oh yeah, so I'm curious on this one, because I am now an old man at the age of 25, right? I'm not hip and with it like you are. So I'm kind of curious, like for you, what's your what's your you obviously spend a lot of time online. So what's like your online diet kind of look like from like maybe first from like a social media perspective, right? Because I know your
So
generation, you've got all the dopamine from
yeah.
TikTok and the Instagrams and all that throwing at you, Reddit, Discord, all sorts of stuff. But what's your situation look like as far as social media stuff?
Well, I got most of it aside from okay. Most of my life I lived under rocks, so I didn't really have social media. But then once COVID hit, I downloaded actually a little bit before COVID, I downloaded Discord, but I didn't really do anything with it. But then once COVID hit, we all went online. So I joined I joined the Discord server of one of my favorite YouTubers at the time, and that just kind of kick-started a for me diving into like getting online friends on Discord, talking to people over Discord, using Discord as like my main messaging system for
Mm-hmm.
solid 3 years. Um, and then and that was basically all it was until pretty much this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because starting probably about mid of the school year, um, I kind of I've seen myself going away from Discord a little bit. Like I still use it a lot. I'll still talk to people on it a lot, but it won't be to the point of, oh, I got a Discord message. I'm going to immediately look at it. Type of thing. I look at it, swipe it away, and be like, okay, I'll look at it later, like after we get on Discord. But and then recently, I've been more. Well, I have a lot of people that I'm doing a daily snap streak with for because why not? That's about the only thing I use Snapchat for, and to talk to some people. But usually, the only thing I'm really using Snapchat for is just snap streaks with people, and then some group chats and talking to some people. That's about it. And
Gotcha.
then I have the main thing, I guess, that's me posting things is my Instagram. That is where I usually look through reels. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Post. That's where I post my story a lot. That's where I'll do actual posts a lot. Not a lot, occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my main thing for social media. I guess I use yeah, and then I watch a lot of YouTube as well. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's not. I
that's
don't do like
kind of
shorts. I just
social
watch
media.
YouTube videos.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So it's kind of been, you'd probably say Discord wise, you're probably like stepping away from like some of the, how do I say it, like the mass community side of it, right? Where like those big, like the big servers where there's just a ton of
No,
people in it.
actually,
Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
no, actually, I personally I prefer the smaller servers where it's mostly just a small group of people. Like I would like the server to be active a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like it where it's constantly active, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
So
gotcha.
active like maybe like once a day when I'm around, but other than that, or just a good place to talk with people. Then other than that, um, I am in a lot of big servers, but that's mostly for video games that I play, so I can get like announcements for those video games. And
Gotcha.
then
Mm-hmm.
I also I know a lot about Discord because I've been using it since 2020, and whereas that's not like the longest that Discord's been around. That's when Discord kind of became mainstream, like over COVID, if as far as I'm aware. At
Mm-hmm.
least in my life, that's when it became mainstream to me. I don't know how long it's been mainstream for, but
Gotcha. Yeah, it's kind of
it
a
makes
lot
sense.
of people. It definitely had a huge growth spike. Then it's kind of been. I think my freshman year of college is when I remember a bunch. Is when I remember getting into it. So it had probably been around for a while. But the big thing was that it was free, whereas like the old stuff like TeamSpeak was kind of what people used before that.
Yeah, right.
So yeah.
And I will say, I mean, I have Nitro right now, but that's because I have for 3 months. But if I have extra money, I will end up getting Discord Nitro because
hmm Extra
why
fun.
not?
Yeah.
It is it is a really nice social messaging. Like if all other social media platforms just suddenly vanished and only Discord was left, I wouldn't be upset. If that
hmm
makes sense. Like if
Yeah.
everyone suddenly switched to Discord to use for messaging, it I mean, sure, it'd be weird for a little while, especially if it was especially for like if it happened to my parents and other people that I as well, but I'd eventually get used to it. And it has its quirks.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right. All in all, I think it's one of the best social media platforms out there.
Yeah, it's really great for like small community stuff. That's really fun. So that's awesome. All right, let me see what I got here. Knock that question out. Knock that one out. Knock that one out. Oh yeah. So this is another really broad one. I mean, we probably touched on a couple of things that kind of answer this question, but like a really popular thing is people say like being a teenager, is all about searching for your identity, right? So you'll maybe be jumping from group to group, trying out some different hats, seeing how that goes. So kind of from the perspective of like your teenage years being a search for your identity, like how's that going?
Well, it's going.
Nice, I like
That's
it.
that. I have gone through. I do definitely agree with that statement.
hmm
I have gone through a lot of, for lack of a better way of saying it, a lot of iterations of myself
hmm
and trying to see, okay, this is what I like for myself, this is what I don't like for myself. But as far as finding it, I don't think I've entirely found it yet. And I
hmm
don't think I will until either while I'm in college or after I get out of college.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't. I think that you'll always be iterating a little bit. You'll probably find like I heard somebody explain this once. I can't remember who it was. Some podcast that I was listening to, but the guy kind of like, yeah, you kind of iterate through. You take like the pieces you like from the different versions of yourself that you've had, and eventually you kind of coalesce this core that's built out of like, okay, these are the pieces that I've noticed every time I've iterated on myself. These kind of don't change anymore. So you kind of like focus and funnel in, and I think you probably eventually you'll start iterating less and stuff like that from that perspective. So yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Iterations of yourself. Yeah.
And I've been and I've that's definitely what it's been like for me. I there's if I compare myself like even to myself last year, um like this time last year, I would say maybe not a completely different person, but different enough to the point where if you put the two next to me, I'd say they're different people.
hmm
Like maybe we're like related people, but definitely different.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When you're the teenage years for sure, like it's the fastest changing time I'd probably say from an internal perspective rolling through that. I know for me it definitely was. High school was a really fast one, so that
Yeah.
lines up a lot. Okay. Gotcha. All right, so we're on the teenage, the search for the identity, all that. Oh yeah, so I don't know. Do you read much? Like books or novels or nonfiction even?
I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I used to. I haven't been reading that much. Haven't read for a long time, and that's partly because of time and motivation. but also partly because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because I read a lot before COVID. And even when COVID hit, the main reason that I stopped reading is because there was a book series that I was going through, specifically the Star Wars books. I was going through the Legend Star Wars books,
Oh yeah.
and I had ordered a book through the library, but COVID hit and I couldn't go get the book. And I
Oh, lame.
fully prefer like um freaking oh my gosh. Oh, brain, please. I fully prefer the actual physical book to like an
Yeah.
ebook or an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so that's yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been using the library a lot recently too because I've been trying not to buy books unless they're ones that I know I'm going to reread because like I've been a big reader for most of my life. Like when I was a kid especially, I was an absolute maniac reading, and I rarely would reread a book. And so I really try to make sure that they're ones that I'm going to keep around for a while before I do it. But the library is excellent, I got to say. We use a lot of that too. I've been rolling through the library. So for those Star Wars Legends books, there's so many of them. I've been thinking about giving one a try. Do you think what would be a good one to try out or start, or a good one in general?
So I'm gonna have a completely skewed opinion here
No worries.
because the way that I was reading through it is I was going through them in chronological order. So I started in the Old Republic, and then I think I was either like one or two books before the Phantom Menace is where I stopped reading because of COVID. So I can give you a really good thing for if you wanna I can give you a really good thing for that. Um there's like three books or sorry, well, two books and a series that I would recommend from that time period.
Gotcha.
The two books would be The Old Republic Revan,
Oh, yep.
which is like that was a it ended on that cliffhanger sadly and doesn't really get fixed per se.
Gotcha. I'm wondering if that ties into
Aside from
the old KOTOR games.
yes,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
would.
Gotcha.
It does. It very much does. I think okay. Well, okay. I think it takes place after the KOTOR games.
That could be. Yeah, I could see that. I haven't
Like I'm
finished those games quite yet,
90% sure
but
it takes place after the KOTOR games
okay.
because my memory could be failing me because I read this a long time ago. But um and then it gets quote unquote continued in the SOTOR game.
Mm-hmm.
If you put like a dark side character and go down like the Revan storyline.
Gotcha. All right. Gotcha. Makes sense. All right. Revan. That one is a bumper. No worries. He's on mute, so I can say whatever I want.
And then bruh. So that's the first book I would recommend. It is a
Gotcha.
very good book, and I put it down after I started. The second book the singular book that I recommend is Darth Plagueis.
Mm-hmm.
This takes place. I'm assuming you know that the Darth Plagueis
Yeah.
is was Sidious's master, and there's an entire book devoted to him, and it is very well written and just absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
And then the final one I would recommend is a trilogy. It's the Darth Bane trilogy.
Darth Bane.
Um,
Okay.
if you know who Darth Bane is he's quite literally the guy who put in place the rule of two for the
Mm-hmm.
Sith. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I've read some like crazy. I've been getting into the lore a little bit. But yeah, the
sorry
dark.
about that.
No worries. But yeah, I deep dove into the Star Wars lore a little bit when I started playing KOTOR. and the Darth Bane stuff is crazy, ridiculously cool.
The
So,
books are the books. I think. I mean, of the books that I read, the trilogy is well, no, not probably it is my favorite because
mhm.
it's it is dark, but it's the good dark type
Yeah,
of thing. Like it's the
I
thing you
gotcha.
expect of a Sith Lord type of dark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
So
I'll have to get those in my list. I've been getting a lot more book recommendations recently because I've been reading a lot more, which has been awesome. All right, so we got we hit that. We hit Darth Plagueis series. All right, I think I got all my questions here. Do you have any topics or questions for me that you wanna rip here?
well, I can go into more detail about Axis and Allies.
We can have 3 more hours to this podcast after this point. Just Axis and Allies talk.
Yeah, no. Um, I guess. Have you been playing any like good video games recently?
Ooh, recently. Well, I've been playing. I find it easier to at least put time into multiplayer games recently. Just because sitting down and
True.
playing a single player game, I don't get a ton of time to rip through it. But so recently, multiplayer wise, I've been playing Risk of Rain 2 and League of Legends. Those have been my two big ones recently. And then single player, the one that I want to start up at some point is, got my Steam library popped up there. Whoops. Uh, the one that I want to roll through is Hades because I had a friend gift me Hades and I haven't started playing that one yet.
Ooh, ooh, Hades is good. I played it off of Game Pass for a little bit, and I had to drop it because I had to drop my Game Pass subscription. But
Gotcha. All right. Yeah,
it's
I play a few
another. If you
roguelikes.
like Hades,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you like Hades, another good one is Dead Cells.
That sounds
I don't know if you've
gotcha.
heard of it or played it.
I think that one's a
But
2D one, right? Kind of like the original Risk of Rain
yeah,
almost. Okay, gotcha. Cells. I'll write that one
yes, it
down.
is.
Yeah.
It's it's like a fast paced. It's like because you can mix like speed running, like the speed running aspect of things, and roguelike together. That's kind of what it's geared towards. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. I can see it.
So it's very fast paced. It's very fun. And also like it has references to a whole slew of games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Gotcha.
think there's a Terraria reference, there's a Shovel Knight reference, there's a Hyper Light Drifter reference, there's a I think there's a Back to the Future reference.
Mm-hmm.
There's freaking Castlevania crossover thing.
I like it. Oh,
Um,
have you ever
it's there's a lot of games.
it's another rogue like this one's kind of unique. I don't know if many other games like it. FTL, Faster Than Light. Have you ever played that?
Um, I've never played it, but I've
Mm-hmm.
heard of it.
Gotcha.
Hold
It's
on,
kind
do I
of
have it in my library?
yeah, it's not a very expensive one. I even have it on my iPad, I think, because there's a version of it on there. But it's really fun. So you're kind of like command your ship in combat. You can pause it at any time, but it's a roguelike. And you like got to command your crew to command different
Oh,
stations on your ship, and you can do like all the interactions are really like it's very thorough for what you could do and what was available. So like you could empty out the airlocks and try to suffocate people that are boarding your ship. All sorts of like crazy little interactions that are super duper fun, and everything's kind of randomized. So that's the roguelike aspect to it.
yeah.
But I play that one whenever I start playing it, I get addicted for a solid week. So I'm probably due for another run on that one, and probably XCOM by the looks of it. I play that one a lot. So
I I also want to play XCOM. I've heard it's really good, but I think right now the game that I'm most addicted to is Just Shapes and Beats. If you've heard of it,
I don't think I have, but I'll write that one down to look into. Just shapes and beats, huh?
it's okay. It is. It's not a roguelike,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a well, it's a bullet hell game, but it's everything is synced to music.
Mm-hmm.
So your goal is to dodge shapes. It's literally the entire thing. It's the goal of the game is to just dodge things
Oh, okay.
that are on screen.
I think I see what you're rolling here. Okay, yeah, I see some pictures of it. I
But
think I've seen people playing this one. Hmm.
yeah, it's very well done, and also has a like pretty easy to follow story mode that actually has like a pretty nice story to it. So if you ever played, I suggest playing through it blind because that makes it the best.
For sure, for sure.
But that's what I've been addicted to recently, trying to get like S rank on all of the levels,
Hmm.
and it's
Nice.
not easy.
I like it. Nice. All right. Yeah, the one like the games like there's a certain genre that I love. I really love art like RPGs for a long time, right? So like the KOTOR games. I actually never finished KOTOR because I
Yeah,
got that it was like after college when I started playing that one, or all the Mass Effect games. Also like all those
I need
BioWare,
to continue
Fallout
those.
stuff like that. Those
Yeah,
types of RPGs,
yeah,
Skyrim.
yeah.
I'd go through these and like the completionist part of my brain almost, although I wasn't really a completionist, but I just wanted to get every bit of story sucked out of these games, right? If I like accidentally
Right,
made a choice that like limited a future option, like oh, it's nasty for me. But I just can't dump like 200 hours into a game like I used to. I gotta I gotta figure out a way to keep my momentum going with smaller play sessions because I just can't do that as much anymore. Ugh.
no, I feel that. I've found like when I was a lot like a while ago, I could sit down and just spend hours doing something in a game.
Mm-hmm.
But now, unless I'm playing with a friend, then I can still do it for hours. But if
Yep.
I'm on my own, I gotta like I do like maybe a half an hour play session and then I'm done because I
Yep.
can't because if I play for longer than that, I kill my motivation for the game, and then
I
I
gotcha.
play it for half an hour and then don't play it for like another like half a year.
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough one. I gotta figure out a better way for doing it because that's what I've been doing too. Like in college, I migrated towards multiplayer games because you sit down, you can play it for a time. They're gonna end right there, and you know you're doing it with other people. So the side of my brain that is like you got to be productive and do stuff right now doesn't kick in as easily. But when I'm playing a single player game by myself, that's that rarely shuts up. Ugh, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's there. Yeah, and I have a huge Steam library, which you can definitely see. I have so many. I have a lot of games, but a lot of them I wait. When did I get Cult of the Lamb? The heck?
Yeah, I feel that that's super common. Everybody I know who's like owns Steam for any amount of time, it's like usually 30% of their library maybe that they've played. It's like
I think it's even less than that for me. Of games that I've actually like sunk time into enough to like say, "Hey, I've played it." Um, yeah, that's probably 25% of my Steam library,
yeah, I
I'd have
gotcha.
to say.
Nice. All right. Let's see what. Oh yeah, just wanted to. I'm gonna drop some wisdom on you, youngin. All right. I'm gonna do this to wrap up the podcast. Here. I'm gonna drop some wisdom on you. All right. This may or may not apply to you. Who knows? Uh, but I know for my fact when I like got out of high school and started rolling through college and stuff. Um, you know, I didn't get like a ton of financial aid, right? My parents weren't paying for my college or anything, so I was very much about like efficiency and rolling through this. So you know, I finished college in 3 years. I was clipping tests. I was doing anything I could, and I think in hindsight, I wouldn't be so worried about rushing. You know, you don't need to rush too hard to being an adult. You don't gotta sprint for it as much. So.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm definitely not. My plan in college, like college is going to take as long as it takes for me.
Mhm.
Which is why I'm so keen on getting the double major, because I know even though it's probably going to mean that I need to have 5 years in college,
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not the same thing as high school, where it's like if you have 5 years in high school, you're doing something wrong most of the time. Whereas if you do even 10 years in college, no one's gonna bat an eye because you're doing something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
right?
I gotcha.
Usually, like the 10 years is like for like a master's degree, but that's
Yeah, for
who
sure.
knows? Maybe we'll get a master's.
Yeah, who knows? Yep, I got my master's after I graduated. I just continued right through and got that because I thought if I took like a gap, I felt like I would lose my studying rhythm. So I just kind of wanted to keep it rolling because
Yeah,
Debbie was
right.
still in school, so we both still had classes, so that worked out pretty well. But yeah, nice. All right. Well, I think I'll stop the recording here after that.